How are you doing, champions? Well, today we are going to be discussing something called as bottleneck analysis. When I say bottleneck, what I mean is the point of congestion where activities kind of slow down or even stop. All of us have seen congestions happen on the road, right? Where suddenly a big broad highway goes narrow and causes traffic. Bottlenecks in business can have a huge impact on profitability. And guess what? It does not show up in your accounting reports. So most people ignore these hidden bottlenecks, and you must not, because that way you will be able to go ahead of your competition. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how you can go about identifying those hidden bottlenecks and therefore go about resolving in the right way. Keep watching. Welcome back, champions. My name is Hardik Harsora and I run a management consulting company. Well, as a management consulting company, we don't give suggestions only or give suggestions and then review whether you have done your actions or no. As a consulting company, we give suggestions, we take your approval, and then we roll up our sleeves and take those suggestions into actions ourselves on your behalf. Knowing something is good and is the first step, but doing it and doing it in the right fashion, doing the right things at the right places and in the right degree, proportion, is where success lies. So if you want to evaluate how we could help you do things in your business that must be done, then all you need to do is go on to my website, scroll down, click on the relevant areas you need help on, answer a few very basic questions, and there you will be able to book a free one-time consultation call directly with me, and we can discuss how we could be of help to all you fine people. Coming back to bottleneck analysis, to understand this better, we need to take an example. So I'm going to be taking an example of making a sandwich. Now, obviously, I'm going to super simplify that example because yours truly can't cook to save his own life. So our process has 3 simple steps. The first one is cutting the veggies. The second one is cutting the loaf, the bread loaf. The third one is putting it all together for this to look like a sandwich which can be served. All of these 3 steps are done by 3 different people. Mr. A does the cutting of veggies, Mr. B does the cutting of loaf, and Mr. C does the assembling so that all of us can relish the sandwich. Let's say Mr. A is able to cut vegetables that are good enough to make 15 sandwiches in an hour's time. Let's say Mr. B is able to cut the bread for about 8 sandwiches in 1 hour's time. And Mr. C is able to assemble about 10 sandwiches in 1 hour of time. When you look at these people working, you would see that, everybody seems to be occupied and everybody seems to be doing the best of their abilities. But that's where the problem is. Say you have to sell about 100 sandwiches in a day. And let's say your day is made up of 10 hours. If you divide, you would have to make about 10 sandwiches in an hour. Now you may say, Hardik, that is not practically what happens, right? Sometimes you get an order of 8 sandwiches in the first hour. You may get 10 sandwiches or 12 sandwiches in the next hour. So it kind of fluctuates. I agree. But you have to calculate on the maximum capacity that you would need at any given point in time and then be able to reduce that variation. Everything about variation may be a separate topic. But for now, let's stick to this. Mr. B, which is cutting the loaf, the bread loaf, is cutting worth 8 sandwiches, and that is where the bottleneck is. So imagine the first hour of your business where you get an order, assuming of 10 sandwiches, you would have 15 sandwiches worth of vegetables cut, but the Mr. B will be able to only get the loaf, the bread loaf, for 8 sandwiches, which means that 7 sandwiches worth of vegetables are going to wait. They are not going to be used. Now what this means? This means that Mr. A may slow down his pace because he knows that he's already done more than what is required. When you physically see it, you may not really understand this, but this bottleneck is making somebody work slower. Mr. B, on the other hand, because now there are 10 sandwiches worth of orders, may suddenly want to do more, stressing himself out. People may get stressed in this department, and then Mr. C is only waiting for Mr. B to finish his job. So chances are you may end up saying, hey Mr. C, why don't you go and help Mr. B? And you would probably say, Mr. A, you stop producing what you are an expert at, and why don't you also help Mr. B? And the end result is everybody seems to be doing everything and you don't have a measure of anything. Now you may ask, how does it impact my profitability? Well, it does. Imagine if Mr. A can actually do 15 sandwiches worth of vegetables. Why should he do 10? You must give him the workload of 15. If he's not doing 15, you are underplaying. You are not utilizing your resources at the optimum level, and that is a waste of money. If you do it at 15 and you're able to do the rest of them at 15, you would have your profitability increase for 5 additional sandwiches that you're doing. So on the other hand, Mr. C is obviously waiting. So again, you're wasting resources there. He has the capacity to do 10, but he does not have the work to do 10. He does not have the raw material to do 10. Chances are the Mr. A will continue to do 15. And at the end of the day, he would have cut far more vegetables than what is required. You may have to throw a few vegetables because you're not going to use it. Your day is ended and you don't want to carry forward the vegetables to the next day, which is, by the way, the right thing to do. You're going to waste your money, which is the cost. All of this impacts your profitability, but it does not show anywhere on your profit and loss statement or your balance sheet or your cash flow. So now coming to what you must do about it. Well, first things first. A lot of people, all of us, kind of see how much is any department producing, which is good. You don't need to eliminate that metric, but you need to add to that intelligence. So what do? The first thing that you do is estimate how much you will have to produce in a day or in a week or in a month, depending upon the frequency of your transactions with your customers. Number 2 that you have to do is, based on how much you have to produce, you decide how much should each department produce and at what rate. Because if that is understood, every department has a target that is in line with what the ultimate target of the business is for the customer. And then you start measuring each department against this target. Now, when you do this, you will realize that, oh, this department has a bottleneck. There is a lot of work, but it's a narrow lane. This person is not able to do as much as the volume demands. In which case, what you can do, you can go about upskilling the person so that he becomes quicker than he is right now. You may go ahead automating things. Maybe the bread loaves are put into a machine and then it cuts by itself. You may want to do that. The third thing that you may want to do is improve processes. Maybe the place where he cuts the bread is not big enough. Maybe the knife that he requires is not sharp enough. Maybe the knife is not where he's standing, or the bread is not where he's standing. So he cuts the bread and then he has to run somewhere to get another knife or to get another piece of bread. Improve these processes. You may want to do 5S, or you may simply want to hire more people to solve that out. See, look, when it comes to hiring more people, a lot of you may say, but Hardik, if this person does not have enough work, why can't I use him here and instead hire more people? Well, the answer to that is, a specialist is a specialist is a specialist. Why? Because a specialist does the same thing over and over again, not to get it right, but to not get it wrong. So if you ask a person to do 2 different kind of work, some cases it will work and maybe it is the right thing to do also. But managing that thing is very difficult. Getting the person to be an expert at multiple things is also very difficult. What is easy is you give the person one task and get him to repeatedly do the same thing. The efficiency goes off the roof because he is now an absolute expert at doing those things. The second thing that may happen is, what if a department is producing more than what the demand is? Well, in that case, you have two options. First, evaluate whether you require that kind of capacity in that department. Maybe you have more people. Maybe you have a machine which can produce far greater, but you don't need it. If that's the case, that's an element for cost cutting. You may want to do that. The second option that you have, and that's my personal favorite. If a department is able to produce more, then you may want to have the rest of the departments produce more, because ultimately all of us do business for larger volumes, for bigger profitability, for bigger turnover. So you can do that. If person A, Mr. A is able to cut for 15 sandwiches, it merits for us to add people A with person Mr. B and Mr. C so that we can deliver 15 sandwiches to people instead of doing 10. So that's another route that one can take. Now, if you're wondering how do I get the demand of 15 sandwiches, well, there are a lot of videos that I've done and there's a playlist on the YouTube channel for growth planning and execution. Visit that channel. There is not one thing. There are several videos that I've done on how you can go about increasing your sales and getting that demand put in. The key word here is marketing and sales. So I hope with this understanding, you will be able to go evaluate your business from the bottleneck point of view and identify those hidden bottlenecks, eradicate them and add to your profitability. So if you like this video, hit a big fat thumbs up. Share this video with your friends, colleagues, definitely your supervisors and leaders, so that they can start looking at things in the same way. If you've not subscribed to this channel, hit that subscribe button. There is no bottleneck for you to do that and for the videos that can help you grow your business coming your way. Until we meet next time, keep learning, keep implementing, and all you lovely friends, keep propelling.